Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. Happy Lord's Day. Happy Sunday to you. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You might not actually know what we're going to be talking about, but it's going to be fun nonetheless. Thank you so much for jumping into the best live chat on the internet. I want to shout out to all of you all who've already jumped in and said what's up, made yourself comfortable, took your shoes off, fixed yourself something to drink. Shout out to everybody. But I want to say thank you so much for popping in tonight. This is going to be an extension of my Thankful Thursday video. And I wanted to do this Thursday, but you all started sending me some video clips and we went off the rails. So I didn't get to do the fun activity that I wanted to do. I thought you all would have fun doing it. So we're going to do it tonight. So shout out to everybody. What does it say? What does the world vampire say? Plot twist. Apparently Candace had the most to gain. R.I.P. Charlie. You know, I don't actually think there's any lie detector there. Shout out to that. Thank you, Ben. When he says this, is this my fault, Jason? I've sent lots of videos. You have sent me a lot of videos, but this one's going to be different how we handle this. But I do appreciate it, and it's okay. Absolutely. Welcome. Can I say Lashea Morrison is a new member to the channel. Welcome. Good to have you. Thank you so much for stopping through. Juju B is going to be number 5. Shout out. Make sure when you hit the like button, you drop your like number down in the chat. We appreciate it. The moderator right there in the building, Tina's in the house. I love it. Good to see you. Grace and peace to you. What does Sin say here? Everything in CO's mind is a conspiracy. Shaking my head. She makes her money promoting conspiracies, and it's gross. No one is safe from her conspiracies, dead or alive. And I agree with you right there for sure. She's been a member for 12 months. Christina's been a member rocking with your boy for 12 months. Shout out to you. I'll make sure to add some new badges for that for sure. You want Candace Bingo? We got Candace Bingo coming up. We'll do Candace Bingo again for sure. But tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. But I really think you're going to have a good time for sure. What does Jen say here? She says, LOL, I didn't know y'all could see the channels we watch. It all makes sense now. So yeah, let's talk about that. So one of the things that YouTube allows us to do in the YouTube studio, let me just pull this in real quick. In the YouTube studio is I can see in the last 28 days, all the content creators that y'all have been watching. It is crazy. Let me set it for October. Let's see who y'all been watching in October. Kind of shenanigans y'all been up to in the great month of October. Let me redo this because I think it might be out of whack. It is out of whack. All right. Where are we at right here? Okay. So for October. Okay. So let me zoom in so y'all can see it. All right. Channels my audience has been watching. I guess it's still going to say the last 28 days. Y'all been watching that Officer Tatum. Y'all been watching Meira K. And this is ranked top 15. This is ranked the top 15 show channels y'all been watching. Y'all been watching Tinashe Peter. Y'all been watching Pop and Culture. And y'all been watching Professor Nez. So what I'm going to do is I am going to jump over, Meira K has been crushing it, man. She is an excellent content creator. Shout out. If you're not tapped in on what she's doing over there, she is a woman who lives in Israel. So she talks directly about these conflicts and such like that from a boots on the ground perspective. I'm going to jump over and we're going to check out one of Meira's videos. But before we do that, to clean our palate, if you will, we're going to do this. I didn't realize I was looking at the wrong channel. Ami has 2 channels on YouTube. And the first one I found, I was like, I don't see any good videos on here. It's called Ami's House or something like that. But the real one is Ami Kozak _official. That's the one where all of these Tucker Carlson videos you all were talking about. Because I said, I don't see him. What are you talking about? I don't see what you're talking about. Well, now I found, because he has 2 channels. And this is the one where he's making fun of one Tucker Carlson. So let's bring this in. Let's talk about it. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Actually evil.
Wait, sorry about that.
That we've ever known. I mean, I do think Bibi Netanyahu is evil, actually. Probably one of the most, actually evil people that we've ever known about. I mean, he's demonic, really demonic. Just plain, pure evil. You're evil. He's trying to... I think Bibi's a demon. I think he might have been the demon that molested me.
Really?
I remember it. I remember it really well, actually. I remember what happened. You know the story. I was molested by a demon. I think the demon might have been Bibi Netanyahu who was doing that. I really do believe that. I really do.
What makes you think that?
You know, I woke up smelling like hummus, and I could hear while it was going on. I could hear, "Hello, how are you doing? This is really nice, Tucker. I'm holding you. You are so tender and wonderful. Keep laughing." And I remember I was laughing like, and I was crying at the same time. I was. It was very traumatic, really traumatic. It was, and I really do think it might have been Bibi Netanyahu who was the demon that molested me, which made me certainly have questions about Israel, questions about Israel's leadership.
Wait, so what are your current thoughts about Bibi?
Bibi, I think, is a great leader, and he's a beautiful person, right? Like, I have no ill will towards him, like at all.
Hello.
He's back.
Come here.
I mean, I do think Bibi Netanyahu is evil, actually. Probably one of the most...
Rookie, man. I'm a rookie, man. Maybe I don't like hearing myself. Maybe that's what the problem is. All right, so we'll clean the palette after each time. I'm gonna jump over to Meira's channel. And again, she has a fantastic channel. Let me just bring it over for you all to check out. If you're not following Meira K, Meira K Official is her actual channel, and excellent content creator. She's doing a wonderful job over here, just breaking down tons of different topics. All right, I'm gonna just grab one of her videos and we'll just watch it and we'll just check it out. I'm not gonna add a lot of commentary to it. I just want you to check out what she's doing, because this is one of the content creators that you all have been checking out. And what I want to do, before I do that real quick, I'm looking at content creators who really, it ranks them the top 15. So 3 pages of 5, right? So I'm just selecting the one that has the least amount of viewers or subscribers already. So at the current moment, Meira has 47,900 subscribers. Everybody else is above 100,000. So I'm gonna start with Meira. We'll just look at her, what she's doing over here. I'm gonna look at this video. Pro-Palestinian syndrome is rough. And the full context is...
So I'm kind of...
Pro-Palestinian women comes across Jewish students, unsurprisingly, lost their minds. So let's see what Meira's got to say. Again, shout out to her. And if the moderators want to drop her link in the chat, that would be super dope. Let's get going. Let's go.
So I'm kind of getting more and more convinced by the second that being pro-Palestinian is actually just like a form of mental illness. Yeah, I said it. Like, there's just something so unbelievably socially off about these people. And it really stems far beyond like lack of ability to form a coherent intellectual argument, right? It's not just about being super sophisticatedly intelligent. I don't mind people who aren't really, really intellectual. Like, everyone's entitled to their opinions. And it's not just that they're not able to have an intellectual argument and it's all emotional. Like, it's all focused on how they feel about it. It's just that their behavior is so antisocial. Like, there's just something so unbelievably off about it. Now, there's an expression in Hebrew that says, Im lo nitzchak nivke. If we won't laugh about it, we'll cry. And so I decided, you know what? It's time. Let's just laugh a little bit at how crazy this is. We know it's scary. We know we've got a lot of work to do. And trust me, we're trying. But at the end of the day, let's at least entertain ourselves a bit and watch how these people, which we've given so much credit for being this big force, are actually just totally unstable and unhinged. You ready? And by the way, would you mind just quickly liking, subscribing, and following the page? I truly, truly appreciate it. Let's go.
You're a white woman. I am Semitic. See these? We are the Semites. Do you know what you guys... Do you know what Zionism has done? Are you a Zionist? Are you a Zionist? Are you a Zionist?
We are just here being Jewish on campus. We're not saying anything political.
They're shredding. In your name, they're shredding children bit to bit. They're shredding children bit to bit. You should be making it stop.
Hey, wait, this is sorry.
You should be making it stop. You should be making it stop. Move on. Move on. This is a Jewish holiday. Are you a Zionist?
We're not saying anything political. We're just existing as being Jewish.
I like it. If you tell me I'm an anti-Zionist Jew, I have no problem with you. A Zionist, whether they are Jewish, whether they are Christian, whether they are Muslim, a Zionist is the lowest form of rubbish. Muslim, Christian, Zionists are the most disgusting disgusting thing that has ever walked this earth. I have a plaque. I have a plaque. If not, I'll hammer you. I am a Semite. I am a Semite. I am the real Semite. I am the indigenous Palestinian. I am the indigenous Palestinian from that land. You are a fucking filthy Zionist. Nothing to do with being a Jew. You just.
As I said, I think it's a mental illness. A little bit.
Disgusting person. You came to me.
Can you imagine if you were like in the middle of an argument, just like fighting with somebody because you're frustrated, which I think is also a little bit of an off thing to do publicly, but you see the camera and you just decide that you should go harder, like you should just scream more. Told you, antisocial behavior.
You came to me. You think I'm scared of you? Touch her, not me. Touch her, not me.
Excuse me, you just started harassing us just because we're celebrating a holiday.
Anna. What the hell is Anna? You can't do Anna.
Like, look at her. She doesn't look well. Do you know what I mean? Like, not well. I'm gonna touch her, not me. Touch her, not me. I don't even know what that means. Touch her, not mental illness. I'm telling you.
You gotta go. Look at this rubbish. Look at this parasite. You're a parasite.
Excuse me, why am I a parasite? I'm being Jewish.
You had to pray.
Excuse you.
You had to
Why?
pray.
Because of what? Because we're Jewish?
Baby killer.
This is a Jewish holiday. The only thing we're doing here is being Jewish. Excuse you. Excuse you. Do not contact us.
I am a Semite here. I am a Semite here. Walk away. You are a disgusting baby killer.
Walk away.
You don't know what anti-Semitism is. That's your problem in Europe, not our problem. You colonized us. You colonized us. Walk away. You colonized us, and we will get you out.
Like, do you see this? I'm telling you, like, my theory is becoming more and more correct. Every video that I watch, instead of freaking me out now, it just literally entertains me. I'm like, oh, this is so sad. This person needs to be hospitalized, not taken seriously for their opinions. Look at how close she is. Would you ever, like, would anybody sane do that?
You can move away.
Okay, I don't plan on stopping a whole lot, but you do realize that this woman actually initiated the contact. Like, she was the one that walked up on this group and started discussing with them. She wasn't required to do so. I don't know what the other women were doing, but this woman, touch her, she's in my way, blah, blah, blah. Ma'am, you walked in here. You walked into this. This is such a weird exchange. I'm sorry, it's kind of loud, though, but shout out to Meira for sure.
Always a victim. Always a victim. Cry. Just cry.
Cry.
Yeah, this is
My theory is correct.
Walk away, please.
Go away. Nobody said victim. They're all scared of one person. Walk away. They're all scared of one person.
You need to walk away.
Walk away. A Zionist is the lowest.
We're Jewish. We're here being Jewish and existing as being Jewish. We are Jewish. Why did you yell at us? Why did you yell at us for celebrating a Jewish holiday? That is on you. You can't say you're being anti-Semitic. Say anything you want.
No, you're the one that walked into it. Get her out of the way.
This is just a Jewish holiday. That's not
People
true.
are walking towards us.
She's literally lying. Like,
Right.
Like, she came towards me. Bitch, we're all watching the video. It's all on camera.
So shout out to Meira. I like Meira. This one, I think she makes the case. I think she's making the case that this might be a mental shortfall, mental shortcoming, if you will. A shout out to Meira. I appreciate that one. Let's see what other videos y'all have been watching. Let's jump and we're going to see let's see what Pop and Politics are talking about. We're going to find like a short video. We're not going to do it long because we got a lot of videos to look at today. All right, let's see. Ooh, this one that's 2 years ago. Let's see what they've been talking about recently. All right. Very nice thumbnails. Very engaging. I got you. I see you. Let's see. He has instant regret after the Fox News interview. Here, let's do 5 minutes on this one right here. Who's that? Hakeem Jeffries.
But Democrats define illegals different than we do.
Okay, let's jump in. Let's jump in right here.
Laws that are being, reviewed at the Supreme Court. These things impact Americans primarily. First and foremost, they will impact us, and it needs to stop.
Nicole, I want to ask you because, okay, we all agree that we don't believe illegal immigrants, non-citizens should get health care. But is that heartless? You know how the left is saying, is that a situation? The left is trying to push a narrative that health care is a right. And, if these people are here, whether legal or illegal, and they have some type of health issue, health situation, it's for the better good, or that they get health care. What are your thoughts there?
No, you want to know what's heartless? $900 a month premiums for insurance with a $10,000 deductible, and deductible applies to everything except for your annual wellness exam. Try that for a young person, a single person who's just trying to maintain their health, who may have a little asthma, a little high blood pressure, whatever it is. We're asking our newly employed youth to come up with that kind of money. So this illegal immigrant, this DACA person, this anchor baby, if you will, can be insured. It happens all of the time. It happens very much in healthcare. And what you see, like they do in the District of Columbia, they move people from one silo of money to another silo of money if the feds are looking at how many illegal people are collecting a certain amount of healthcare benefit. So they'll move they call them young children without healthcare, illegal children from CHIP over to a private state-run program still using federal dollars. It's a shell game of the highest order. These people aren't dumb. They've been shamming the government. They've been on the grift for a very, very long time. But as an American citizen, I'm going to tell you, me and my $1,200 a month insurance, $1,200 a month insurance. I had to use an EpiPen today, a $700 EpiPen. Prior to the ACA, the EpiPen was $40.
Wow.
Insurance premium was like $135. So you want to cry me a river? I would like to wipe my eyes with the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I've paid in healthcare coverage. And I work in healthcare. How about that? I work in healthcare. So this is a losing point when you're talking to the American people about saving able-bodied men and DACA recipients and other illegal people money on their health insurance. You've got to be kidding me. This is how disconnected they are. But here's an important point, KJ, that I wanted to point out. When we talk about illegal people and government benefits, especially healthcare, we should all know that USCIS, this is the people who vet people for green cards and temporary status and that kind of thing, does not check to see if you've been a drain on the United States taxpayer. They don't look for housing, food, or healthcare. They don't look at any of that when they're considering who you've been since you've been in our nation illegally. That has to change. I say, if you're here illegally and you've been a drain on the American public, baby, you don't get to stay. You need to go back to your home nation and work it out.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Now that was Pop and Politics. And if you just jumped in, we got 125 people that are in the most electrifying live chat on the internet. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the channels that you all have been watching for the last 28 days. And this is Pop and Politics. That was an excellent segment right there. Shout out to these young ladies right here. I love when people come with they know what they're talking about. They have their knowledge in place. They have their statistics. They have their understanding. They know the different organizations and entities that they're going to call out. She has a personal story. What she said, the EpiPen cost $700 and it used to cost $40. That's crazy work. People, that stuff resonates. That stuff clicks. People can understand that. It's super easy. I'm doing the math in my head. Like, what kind of percentage is that? So shout out to them for sure. This is Pop and Politics. Now, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Here in the YouTube studio, I can see the channels that my audience also likes to watch besides mine. So we just watched Meira. Shout out to Meira K. Excellent content creator. I like watching her content. I actually have to admit, I haven't seen much of Pop in Politics before, but great content creators. I have to admit, me and Professor Nez have done projects before, so I already know a lot about him. Let's jump over here and see what T. Peter is talking about lately. Let's see what he's got going on. And his channel used to be called Aquarius Rising, I think it used to be called, or something like that. He changed it. But shout out to him. Let's see what he's got over here. I know this is going to be interesting. Marjorie Taylor Greene is fake MAGA, using Trump and conservatives for votes. Okay. Let's just do about 5 minutes. We ain't going to do too long.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sean King said to me when we were in the car once, he said, Sammy, you don't understand who Marjorie Taylor Greene is. She's the representative of the most racist area in Georgia. African Americans were told not to go to her area. She's now one of the loudest advocates against Zionism.
You know, a lot of folks out there are genuinely shocked at how somebody like a Marjorie Taylor Greene could all of a sudden switch up on not just the president, but the entire party. How she could just throw them all under the bus in the way that she has recently. Now, I just so happen to not be one of those people in the category of shocked, because we're talking about the same person who believed that the 2018 California fires were caused by Jewish space lasers.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
In order for them to profit in this grand conspiracy. This is that woman, right? That's her. Now, I'm also not surprised because the character of this woman has been put into question time and time again, unrepentantly. There's somebody who claims to be a Christian, and so I can uphold this standard for somebody who claims the faith. This is a woman who had 2 affairs on her husband of more than a decade, and one of them was with a quote-unquote spiritual tantric master who prefers not to keep clothes on. So, you know, me just hearing the multitude of stories around this woman, I had a more difficult time falling into this love.
Here, let's jump. Let's see
what times when she was saying things, I was like, yes.
Jump a little forward.
And I just let it speak for itself. Let's just say she had earlier sentiments of our president not being quote unquote who he claimed to be. So let's go ahead and run this for you guys.
Tell you what, 6 months in, Steve, and here we are turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag-draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how.
Now, I do want you to keep in mind the comment about CNN being a part of this brainwashing process, right? But okay, so here we have MTG claiming that our president was going to lead us, definitely was going to lead us into World War III, and that there would be flags draped on top of coffins, right, alluding to us losing our brothers and sisters in war because of a decision our president made. Yeah, so let's go ahead and check something real fast, because today happens to be one of those type of days where I do have time. I got time today. Operation Midnight Hammer date. When was Operation Midnight Hammer? Wow, it is, my goodness, this year's going a little too fast. Chill. This year needs to actually chill out. Okay. Operation Midnight Hammer, striking the Iranian nuclear sites. Let me bring this up for you guys. Was in June the 22nd, 2025. This was 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 4. That is incredible. So it has been 4 months, and yet neither any of my contemporaries have found themselves in combat boots in the middle of Iran on the behalf of the Jews. Now, though we have not found ourselves in World War III, what we have found ourselves in is severe mental illness on the right now, or the alleged right, the alleged conservative leaning folk. We have found the same sort of psychosis and derangement, the JDS, Jew derangement syndrome, taking place on the right. And it is as severe as the TDS, and actually oftentimes they are interlinked and become one derangement syndrome, all in and of themselves, right? The Trump derangement, the Jew derangement, or the Israel derangement become one. They mesh. And this is what we are seeing with MTG. Now, MTG.
All right. Shout out to formerly Aquarius Wave. Now, I don't want to butcher his first name. Young blood right there. His first name is Tinashe Peter. Shout out to him. I appreciate that. That's a good, brother's a good channel for sure. Good channel for sure. All right. If you're wondering what we're doing, I'm looking at the channels. I saw this from another content creator where she was just going through looking at some of the stuff that y'all was looking at. And I said, you know what? This would be a lot of fun. So I'm going through and I'm looking at some of the channels that you all are peeping out. What are y'all getting? What are y'all checking out? All that kind of stuff like that. So here's the next 5. If I could do this correctly. There we go. I know who exactly I'm going to jump in. But before we do that, let me go ahead and say thank you for these supers right here. Real quick, thank you so much let me bring myself up in here like this. There we go. Thank you, Garcia, with the $5 super. Says, keep up the good work, my brother. Thank you so very much for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you. And Eric Smith with the $10 super says this. I liked your interview with Blexic much better than when you were on that panel with the other guy. That panel with the other guy made you look bad. He set you up. Really? Who was this? Uh-oh, now I need to know. Eric, let me know what you're talking about, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've been on a lot of panels. I like panels, though, but yeah, it's an interesting format and gives you a lot of opportunity to hear a lot of other people. But let's keep it going. Let's jump over here and let's see. Thank y'all so much for the support. Thank you so much for helping out the channel. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so we got Stephen Gardner, Tamara, Neely, JTV, the Global Jewish Channel, Ruslan KD, and Chicks on the Right. I'm going to always start with the channel that has the least amount of subscribers. So I'm going to jump over and see what Miss Neely has going on. But let me, before we do that, let's clear our palettes. Let's check out another Tucker Carlson shout out. Hold on one second. All right, let's get clean our palette with another Tucker Carlson shout out. Let's bring that in. All right. Did it rewind? Did it start over? All right, let's go.
Step back one moment.
I'm sorry. I don't know where I stand.
Right over there, sir. 2 steps back, please.
I don't know where I stand. I like at all.
Sir, please take a step back and wait.
I don't know where I stand.
Sir, when I tell you, please take 2 steps forward and present your ID.
I get it. I totally get it. But I don't know where I stand.
You don't know where you stand? Sir, if you're going to be a problem, we're going to...
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. By the way, I'm like the king of apologies. I apologize to everyone and anyone at all times. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the world. I'm sorry, world. But I don't know where I stand. I have no idea where I stand.
Okay, sir, that's why you're going to stand where I tell you.
I'm aware of that. I heard that. I heard you say that. It's a question. I don't know where I stand as a man, as a Christian, as a white person.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can somebody help him? Okay, sir, what's your destination?
Destination? Qatar.
Qatar? Why are you going there?
I'm visiting a friend. Several friends, actually.
Okay, we need security. Sir, step to the side.
Okay, but the problem is I don't know where I stand. I have no idea where I stand.
What do you mean you don't know where you stand? I'm telling you.
Here?
No.
Maybe here.
No.
Here?
No.
Here?
Oh my God.
I know. I keep moving around because I don't know where I stand. So
what's the problem?
Okay, he doesn't know where he stands.
I'm sorry. I'm here. I don't know where I stand. So.
Okay, so you're gonna have to move now. We gotta escort you to security.
I don't want to do that actually as an American. I don't want to move at all as an American. I don't want to move.
Let's go.
So
let's move.
There's a lot of people in this country. There's a lot of people in this country that have to move. I'm not going anywhere. I live across from my parents' graves. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, sir, for the moment.
Okay, but
Hands behind your back, sir.
Please.
I don't know where I stand.
Okay, just please step aside.
Still not getting it. Hi.
Sir, please step back one moment.
I'm sorry. I don't know where I stand.
Right over there, sir.
I think it's fair to say that Tucker doesn't know where he stands. Shout out. All right, we had to clean our palate a little bit. Let's get ready to, let's see what Lady Neely has going on. Hold on a second. There we go. Let's see what Lady Neely has going on her channel. Shout out to her. Great content creator. I've actually been on panel with her. Fun fact. Actually been on the panel with her. Tamara Neely. She has 21,200 subscribers. Making it work over there. Doing some great stuff. Let's go look at most recent things. Let's see if she got any shorts. Let's see if she got any fun shorts. Yo, this doggone Super Bowl. Ay, ay, ay. At this point in the game, I really believe that the NFL tries to find controversy and they just try to get clicks. Because I don't know what this guy is, Bad Bunny. I don't get why they chose him. I have no idea, and I don't think the NFL has an idea why they chose him. All right, let's see what Tamara Neely has going on. Why is the black community like this? Okay, let's see what she got to say. Let's hear what she's saying. Let's go.
See, these people don't want to know the truth. They don't care about the facts in the case. All they care about is the fact that Carmelo Anthony is a black young man and they're supporting him to the end of time. Why is it that the black community at large, not everybody in the black community, but why is it that the majority of the black community is willing to get behind every single criminal that makes headlines? Why is the black community so emotional to the point where they can't even process information correctly and make an informed decision, where they can't allow themselves to critically think about issues because they are so emotionally tied down? Why is that happening? You have to start looking at the structure of the black community. You've got to start looking at the fact that the black home is broken, that there's a lack of fatherhood, there's a lack of leadership. And you have women running the household and they end up raising men who are soft. And it's not all men in the black community, because there are a lot of amazing men in the black community who are far from that. But you see so many people in the black community, so many men and so many women in the black community who have fallen into this trap of victimhood, the victimhood Olympics. And they are willing to believe anything as long as the black people are the victims. That's a problem. See, these people don't want to know the truth. They don't care about the fact.
Hey, that was on point. That was, I know where she stands, unlike Tucker Carlson. I know where she stands. That was a very salient, clear, thoughtful comment. Shout out to Tamara. Oh, let me make sure I hit like. Tamara Neely. Am I subscribed to her? I think I am. I'm subscribed to her. Are you subscribed to her? Subscribe to her channel. Okay, somebody said they wish her videos were longer. Let's see what she got. This one's 15 minutes. I don't really want to hear about the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna even lie. How about I'm gonna jump over here. I know she did a video about Carmelo Anthony going to college, and there it is right here. That's actually, I don't think this is true. I'm starting to believe this is not a true story. But it did well, though. It did well. She's got great thumbnails, excellent titles, good facial expressions, the whole nine. Yeah, shout out to her. All right, real quick, let me see. And what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the videos that y'all be looking at. I can see on the YouTube studio what my audience and the people that watch my channel, what they also watch. And the vast majority of people watch Tamara Neely. Shout out. She's number 6. Top 6 watched on the last 28 days. Let's see if this one is. Are you sure it was him? Let's jump in real quick.
She had a strong conviction that she knew exactly what this dream meant. And sometimes, and maybe you guys have experienced this because I know I've experienced it, sometimes when you're thinking about something a whole lot, you'll start kind of dreaming about it because it's in your, I guess subconsciousness. I hope I'm saying that right. And so you're thinking about it even when you're not thinking about it. and it can pop up in your dreams. That happens to me quite often, where if I'm, concerned about something or worried about something, sometimes it'll just pop up in my dream, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that that is from God. Sometimes that just means you're thinking about this situation a whole lot. But I think this young lady makes a good point about, usually dreams aren't always so cut and dry like that. Like, that's a good point. Most of the time, I think people usually need an interpreter, especially if they're getting a dream that means something very deep, right?
She was describing it.
Okay, shout out to Tamara Neely. She's clearly talking about that time Candace said that she had a dream about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk came to her in a dream or whatnot like that. No, this is an excellent channel. I just wanted to just real quick peep and see what she was talking about. If you're not following Tamara Neely, give her a green heart. Go on over there and check her out. I see Eric is back. Eric, I had a question about what you were saying about panel. I cannot see specifically what each individual, but I guess if the vast majority, a large number of my subscribers watch Tamara Neely, that YouTube clicks me and says, hey, a lot of people are watching Tamara Neely. But it's not saying specifically that Beth is watching Tamara Neely or that Eric Smith is watching Tamara Neely, but rather that a large number of your audience is watching Tamara Neely. That's all it's telling me. But I thought that was interesting. So let's see let's jump and see. I've never watched Chicks on the Right. I have to admit, I've never watched them before.
Good morning,
So
everybody.
let's see what they're
It is
talking about.
Thursday. We are so happy to be here.
They're so happy to be here. Shout out to them. All right. So Chicks on the Right, they got about 159,000 subscribers, lots of videos. Let's look at a short. Let's look at a short first. I like that format. That's kind of cool. This is an interesting title. The real war isn't political. It's good versus, I'm assuming it means good versus evil. Good versus evil. Yep, I was right. Okay. I like that stacked format right there. Let's pull that in. All right. This is Chicks
Do you believe
on the
that
Right.
there is a concerted attack on Christians in the country right now?
Yeah, of course. This has been really challenging for me. It started obviously with Charlie Kirk's assassination. He holds the political beliefs that you all have and I have close. That's what he was speaking about and standing for. And so you go through this whole mental gymnastics of they want me dead too. I believe the same things. I'm saying the same things. You guys probably get it too. You're so out there, threats and hate and all the things. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm always like, whatever. Keyboard warriors, people sending stuff in the mail, even the phone calls, take it FBI, take it police. I'm just going to keep going and doing. But with Charlie, it was like, that was very, very brazen and very close to home. There's an attack on Christians. There's an attack on churches. There's an attack on faith. What we're seeing in America is good versus evil. And even when we started Moms for Liberty, I knew that, like I knew good versus evil. I get postcards from Satan, used to be weekly, now monthly. They're postmarked out of Colorado, by the way, but they're signed by Satan, usually casting demons and spells and all of these things. So I know this is a good versus evil, but what we've seen in the last 2.5 weeks in our country is beyond anything I thought could happen.
Support our show by supporting our sponsors.
Do you believe that there
Hold up. She getting postcards from the devil? Y'all, hold up. We need to have a conversation. We need to have a whole conversation. What is wrong with people? I think we know what's wrong with people, but my goodness in the morning. Okay. That was actually pretty good. Shout out to them. Their editing looks fantastic. She has a short video about Candace. I think they bring us back in. They got a short video about Candy. I think we can do that real quick. Are you tired of this? Candace Owens just went full Kanye and it's getting weird. That was done about 8 hours ago. Okay, shout out. Or, oh my gosh, is Taylor Swift a trad? Is Taylor Swift trad now? Taylor Swift talks about being a wife and mom. Does Taylor Swift got kids? Hold on, Taylor Swift got kids? I didn't know that. I know she just got engaged. What's she talking about? Okay, let's look at this one right here. Let's stay focused, Jason.
All right. And of course, you guys, we cannot go today without updating you on the Candace drama. I'm not going to give too much, okay? Because I hate giving her more clicks and subs and all that kind of stuff, but we have to just update you really quick. Here's just one video. That's just one. Here we go.
Went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me, trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us to sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real.
Oh my God.
I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary. And I highly recommend every single person that is out there that has a platform and is going through things and is scared, do the same. Send everything around to about 8 people that you trust. And I mean, I've ranged it. I sent it to journalists, text messages and screenshots to people ranging from Max Blumenthal to Andrew Tate. They won't know where it's coming from.
I just can't. You guys, Kanye is her North Star, just so you know. It's her North Star. I can't. At this point, I just can't. So many people are following her. Yeah.
Just expose them now. If people are making threats, I do think politics and media can be a nasty business. And I think we've all had experiences with bad producers or, it's just gross. There's a lot of gross things that happen. But if that is happening, when you have such a following like Candace does, she should just tell us.
Yeah. But I mean, Corinne, her husband alone is worth $240 million. I feel like financially she's probably okay.
Yeah. But if there are threats being made and Kanye, said the same thing that people were threatening, that Kanye posted all the text messages of people threatening him. So Candace should do that. If that's happening, I want to see them.
Well, I mean, she's got to do that with the trickle because then it helps with engagement. It's got to really.
Kanye put his threats right on Instagram for everyone to see. And I did watch. It was a great 2 weeks of reading his text messages. So
that was crazy.
Candace could do that quickly too.
He's also bipolar. Just like to point that out. Yeah. And the fact that she is, letting everybody know too, that she's aligning with people like Andrew Tate should also speak volumes. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have never checked it out. We actually have a great interview with the lawyer who's representing some of the women who are suing Andrew Tate for trafficking. So you should check that out. You should check it out. It's a great interview, by the way.
Okay. Shout out to, was that Chicks on the Right? Shout out to them. That was actually informative. I like that. Now, I will say this. Going back to Candy. I do think it's interesting. Well, what if Candaspiracy falls out with one of the people that she sent her life insurance plan to, and they decide to go ahead and just drop it? What would happen if she falls out with like Andrew Tate, or she falls out with somebody else? I'm sure Tucker Carlson got a copy of this quote unquote life insurance policy, and they just decide, you know what? I'm just gonna forget it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. And nobody knows where it came from. She's giving it out to 8, 9 people, whatever. That just seems like a bad plan, because she seems to have a real propensity of burning bridges with people whom at one point she was pretty in good alignment with. Now all of a sudden they're no longer in alignment, and now this person knows all your personal information, and you wanted them to nuke other people, but lo and behold, they actually end up nuking you by dropping it tomorrow. I think that'd be crazy work, but just what you think. If you're wondering tonight, I'm just going over some of the channels that y'all have been watching. I know who y'all been watching. I know who y'all been watching when y'all not been watching me. Get out of the way, Jason. All right, so we're looking at Tamara, Neely earlier. We looked at Chicks on the Right a second ago. Let's check out Stephen Gardner. I know I've done a project with Stephen Gardner before. Oh, I'm sorry, I know Stephen Gardner. I apologize. I've not done a project with Stephen. Take that back. Strike that. But let's go see what he's talking about over here. Let's see. Of course, fantastic opening splash page. Looks very interesting. Let's look at his thumbnails. Very engaging. Explosions and facial expressions. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Does he have a short one that we can jump on? Let's just do a short real quick. Let's see what he's got over here. Look at this. My gosh. These are nice. I like these. Go ahead, Steven. Okay. Challenge accepted, my guy. Challenge accepted. Those are very nicely done. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see. Oh, man, these are very interesting. Let's just go with NVIDIA's $500 billion bet on AI chips. Let's see if this is interesting. Let's go. I'm going to just go with this one.
Continuing efforts to strengthen the United States, NVIDIA, one of the largest companies in the entire world, is planning to invest $500 billion over the next 4 years to make AI chips and supercomputers right here in the United States of America. We're talking about 100,000 good-paying jobs.
Wow.
And no more being dependent on Taiwan, no more being held hostage by China. These will be made right here in Texas and right here in Arizona. The company is building over 1 million square foot space to be able to build these incredible high-tech chips. It's going to be amazing. Continuing efforts to strengthen the United States, NVIDIA.
Shout out to NVIDIA. I think that's a game. I think I've heard their name as relates to like gaming consoles or gaming chips and whatnot. Okay. I see you, Stephen Gardner. I see you over there, brother. Shout out to Stephen Gardner. Let's see what else he's got. Hey, I like this format, man. These are breaking news. All right, let's see. That was interesting. Okay, come on. Oh my gosh. Whoopi Goldberg versus Trump, taxes, tariffs, and America's future. All right, Stephen, what we got? Let's see what we got.
Well, now Whoopi Goldberg of The View is telling Americans to suck it up, pay more taxes, and ignore the core issues of government: mismanagement, underfunding, stealing our money, poor performing schools, poor productivity, terrible systems for retirement, and yes, endless wars. All of that comes from just stealing our money. Well, now Whoopi Goldberg of The View is telling.
Shout out to Stephen Gardner. Okay, I see you, Stephen Gardner. Shout out to him. He is an excellent content creator. He's been doing this for a while, and he has definitely garnered, 2,600,000 subscribers. I think he does a live stream every day, I believe. Real quick, let me just check. I think he does a live stream pretty much every day. Nope, I was wrong. He hasn't done one in a month. Or he does videos every day? He definitely does a video or several videos a day, but I thought he did a live stream. Okay. Yeah, very engaging. Yeah, these are, okay. I see you, Stephen Gardner. Shout out to him. If the mods could drop Stephen's chat or Stephen's link in the chat, that would be super dope. All right, let's see what they're doing over here at JTV, the Global Jewish Channel. Let's see what they're doing over here. All right. I think I saw something already. Yep, I saw it. All right. Candace can't come back from this. Ooh, all right, let's see what happened. That was 2 days ago. I think that's still about Josh Hammer and the infamous text messages. Candace won't recover from this. And that was BB and the letter. All right, let's see if they got a Hamas will rise again and nobody is safe. Goodness gracious. Let me see. Let's start with the shorts. All right. None of them are jumping out at me. I like they're not really making me want to click on one. But let's just click on this one. Let's see what they got.
What about this whole issue of journalists? You know, Piers Morgan has been one of the big talk show hosts that constantly says it's a disgrace that Israel doesn't allow journalists in.
First, I think there's the highest number of journalists in any per war zone in Gaza than anywhere else. Right, they're just Gazan journalists, right? And that's obviously playing Israel's interest because every single Gazan journalist is somebody who's been trained by Hamas. And I think Israel's right, at least until now, not to have allowed journalists in. And I'll tell you why. So people say, you know, Israel says they're scared the journalists will get killed, and journalist organizations say, well, let us take that risk. Well, yes, that's fair enough. But first of all, Israel's going to get the blame. And much, much more importantly than that, you ask any Israeli parent, any mother or father, their 18-year-old kid is about to go into Gaza. They know they may not come out alive, but they trust the army is going to do the best they can to keep them alive. Now imagine this journalist team in Gaza, and don't put any illusion, they are going to be absolutely everywhere, and the war is absolutely everywhere, which means you're going to have people popping out with things, objects that are all just to figure out, is it an RPG from 500 meters away, or is it a camera? Right? The fact that a soldier has to spend 3 seconds radioing in going, do we know if there's any journalists in the area? And a commander goes, I don't know. Let me get a drone over and see. And at that moment, an RPG is fired and that soldier is dead. Which Israeli parent is going to let their kids anywhere near a war zone like that? Now, by the way, in other war zones, it's the same. In Ukraine, do you think the Ukrainian army lets journalists wander around between Russian and Ukrainian positions? Have you seen any journalists doing that? Are you insane? The Ukrainian army will take them in quickly. They can be in a particular area where the commanders know they're there. They're allowed to film on the Ukrainian side very quickly, and then they're sent back. That's what Israel's been doing. And of course, the Hamas will just dress as journalists. I mean, let's not be stupid, right? So, you know, having vans going around with the press on, you now got to figure out, is it a Hamas van or is it, it's an impossible. That's ridiculous.
Okay. All right. I see you. Shout out to JTV. All right. Let's see. Let me see if they got let's find a quick segment. That was a very informative segment. I'll give you that. I can see that. I can respect that. Let's see. Trump shocks entire Jewish world. We're going to just do like 3 or 4 minutes of it. I'm just going to jump in real quick.
You don't understand.
Parachute in. Let's go.
The United States must oppose this resolution and use the power of our veto, which I will use as president 100%. When people ask why, it's because that's not how you make a deal. Deals are made when parties come together. They come to a table and they negotiate. Each side must give up something. It's values. I mean, we have to do something where there's value in exchange for something that it requires. That's what a deal is. A deal is really something that when we impose it on Israel and Palestine, we bring together a group of people that come up with something that's not going to happen with the United Nations. It will only further, very importantly, it will only further delegitimize Israel. It will be a catastrophe and a disaster for Israel. It's not going to happen, folks.
I'm going to stop there. Shout out to the Don. Shout out to the Don talking about creating a deal. All right. I got you. If you're wondering what we're doing, we're just hopping around looking at some of the channels that you all have been checking out here on this old platform, this YouTube platform. What we got, and we're looking at one of the channels has been JTV, which is, again, the global Jewish channel with 352,000 subscribers. Let me go ahead and subscribe to them. Just since I'm over here, I might as well subscribe to them and check them out, see what they're about. Let's jump over to and see what else. So another channel that y'all have been checking out, of course, A Righteous Perspective. Shout out to ARP. I will not be on that show this week because I don't think I could be on it this Friday. We'll see. I might be on it this Friday. I'm going to see if I can pencil it in. But great content creator, excellent content creator. And I've been focusing on the channel with the least amount of subscribers. So we got proof in politics or culture proof, please forgive me. But before we go too far, let's go ahead and bring back in. Let's clean our palate. Let's get another one of those Tucker Carlson shout outs. All right, this is Ami Kozak. Let's go.
People sitting around eating hummus. Were you talking about Jews?
Not at all. Not at all. Like at all.
So what did you mean sitting around eating hummus?
Hummus? Oh, I always thought they were a political organization.
What?
Last I checked, actually.
Oh, we're back to that?
What?
Tucker.
It's true.
When you described a group of people sitting around eating hummus, were you talking about Jews?
Not at all. Not at all. Like at
Let's
all.
see, let's see another one.
Family, friends, people. Osama was a very unique person, a very special person. Not like a lot of people, like at all. Very dedicated to his family, to his faith, very faith-based person. He loved writing letters. He had a little bit of a temper. Ahmed, you know that. You remember that. He was adventurous. He loved caving. He loved airplanes, flying them at least. He hated buildings, high-rise buildings. I mean, who likes high-rise buildings anyway? I mean, elevators and they're annoying. I get it. I get it. We didn't agree on everything, but who agrees on everything? I mean, we had different views, like very different views. But that's what America's all about. He was a very educated person, and I admire that, like a lot. He was the head of Al-Qaeda, which was a political organization. At least that's what I was told. People tell me that. And he was certainly very passionate about his cause. Like all of us, Osama was not without mistakes or flaws. I mean, allegedly he plotted and murdered 3,000 Americans, 3,000 people. But I mean, who hasn't made mistakes? I mean, as Christians, we have to forgive people. That's what I was told. That's what I've always been told, actually. He worked with groups such as the Taliban, who were actually known for their amazing drug rehabilitation program. It's incredible. Not a lot of people know this, but they have like a very, very low relapse rate, like really low, like lower than the United States, actually. And he should be remembered for that. I really think he should be remembered for that. Taken from us much too soon, and he was actually killed by an immigrant from Kenya. A lot of people don't know that. The order for his death was put out by an immigrant from Kenya, which raises questions about immigration. I think we should be able to discuss that, talk about that. I really believe we should be able to discuss that. He was killed by an immigrant from Kenya who was probably gay. After killing him, he went on and bragged about it on national television. I thought that was disgusting, really disgusting. Last time I checked, I don't think we are supposed to brag about killing people. And so we have to remember the good times and the bad times. People are a package deal. They're a package deal. Some people are upset about the fact that he took the lives of 3,000 people. Like, oh, it's good, 3,000 people. But 3,000 people, he sent them to heaven. They got to meet God. I mean, I'd love to meet God. I've only met demons. Osama was responsible for that. For thousands of Americans, they got to meet God. And so why are we holding that against him exactly? Why are we angry about that? Years after his death, he was actually trending on TikTok as a hottie. You saw that. I saw that. Apparently, young people think he's hot, and we hope they can learn from him and possibly emulate his life and his legacy. And then I can use that. For the family, I'm so sorry for your loss, and may there be many more like him that I can use to confuse the hell out of people and build an audience. I'm sorry. Like kid, not kid. I was molested by a demon. Amen. Sorry for your loss. Thank you. Family, friends.
Ami is wild. That wig is terrible. Yo, Ami is wild stuff, man. Shout out to him for sure. Okay, let me get Culture Proof up in here. Let's see what they're about. I've never watched them before. I have subscribed to them. Went ahead and subscribed since I'm shouting them out. Let's go check them out. What are they doing over here, Jason? They got 28,000 subscribers. They're rocking it out. They're doing what? They're talking about, I see a little bit of Candace over here. I see some politics. I see shout out to Vodi Bakum, passed away recently. Yeah, it looks like they're doing all kinds of stuff. Man, how fame made a conservative. I see Todd from Todd Thinks over here. Shout out to Todd. Let's see. Let's start with a short. See if they got a good short in here. Put your mask on first. Start where you are. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's go.
It's like being on a plane where the cabin begins to lose pressure. The flight attendant says, secure your mask first and then your kids or the person closest to you. And so I think of being on a plane with my kid. I'm thinking, I'm not going to jump over my kid to go do ministry somewhere else. I'm not going to go. No, we're right here, back of the plane, to put somebody else's mask on. I'm going to start right where I am. So in our homes, this is where the individual revivals have to start. It's like being on a plane where the cabin begins to lose pressure. The flight attendant says, secure your mask first.
Oh, it started over again.
Or the person close.
I like that. Okay. I can get with that. I can dig that. Shout out to them. Okay. Oh, wait. I want to see another one now. Let's see what else. Let's see what we got.
In your view, how is man saved? Does the church have authority in salvation, or is it a work of Christ?
Absolutely. False dichotomy.
No, it's not.
False
It's not.
dichotomy.
It's not.
Jesus Christ founded the church as the vehicle for salvation. The church is a boat. When the devil stirs up storms on the ocean, you have to stay in the boat. You have to stay in the boat. No, the church is the boat. No, church is the boat. And the storm comes up. If you jump in, if you jump out of the boat, you will die. If you leave the church, you will die. Okay?
If you leave the Catholic Church, you would die.
Absolutely. Yes, that's the church.
Okay, we disagree.
If you leave the Roman Catholic Church, you would die. So, in your view, how is man?
Oh, okay. That one's kind of spicy. That one is tempting. Now, I see right here, it says, we debated Michael Jones, Catholic Church, the only way to salvation. What? Interesting. Okay. We are not. Let me just click on it real quick. Let me see how long it is.
Hey, the Culture Proof Conference registration.
Okay. Shout out to Culture Proof. This is about an hour and 5 minutes. Okay. That's not that bad. We're not going to watch it tonight, but that's not that bad. Okay. All right. Shout out. All right. That one sounded like that was a spicy topic. All right. Let's go back and look again. Let's see what Todd is talking about. Todd has been on the channel. He's definitely a friend of the channel. Candace Owens Associations show she is not principled. Interesting. Okay, let's see what they're talking about. Let's see.
I mean, just from a standpoint of, even if she's got a problem with Protestantism, we are certainly much closer to her convictions than Andrew Tate.
Man, that's excellently stated. Yeah.
So this is how I know that she's not doing this out of principle. And the same thing is true about Kanye. Kanye has produced some of the most vile and blasphemous content in the last few years that I can think of. Nothing has been more offensive to a supposed Christian than some of the things Kanye is doing or said. But what has she said about Kanye? I mean, just from a standpoint of, even if she's got a problem with Protestantism, we are certainly much closer to her convictions than Andrew Tate.
Man, that's excellently stated. Yeah.
Shout out. It started over again. Shout out to them. That was good. Shout out, Todd. I see you, brother. I'll reach out to Todd, see what he's talking about over there. Okay. This is Culture Proof. Let's find a video. Let's jump on a video real quick and see what y'all been watching over there. We're trying to stay clear of Candace fatigue. Let's see what they said about Dr. Baucham's passing. Let's see what they said about Dr. Baucham's passing. Yeah, let's do this. Let's just do a 5-minute jump in.
Earlier on in chapter 2, verses 9 and 10, you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Once you were not a people, but now you are God's people. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. We are strangers and aliens because we've been called out by Christ. We are strangers and aliens not because of political affiliation. We are strangers and aliens because we've been called out by Christ. It's interesting. I've had the opportunity to be a part of some political movements and different political events because of the rise of a number of issues in our culture. Chief among them, the abortion issue, the critical race theory issue, and also the whole alphabet mafia. These things have allowed me to be in some different circles. I've written on these issues and, again, have had the opportunity to be in a number of different circles. And it's tempting in those circles to do what I call shaving off the edges, right? It's tempting to be in those circles and to recognize that, like, we agree with each other on this cultural issue. However, they don't come at it from my perspective. So let me just shave off the edges of the gospel and just talk about this from this perspective so that we can sort of keep this alliance. No, absolutely not. And the minute we refuse to do that, we recognize that even among people with whom we identify politically, we're strangers and aliens. Because we're rooted and grounded in the gospel and not just political theory. So even there, it makes us strangers and aliens.
Remembering Vodi Bakum.
Okay, shout out to Culture Proof. I believe this is the husband. Yep, there you go. Will and Mika, Mika Addison. They are a husband-wife team to do a podcast together. Shout out to them. Homeschool anywhere. All right, they're pro homeschooling. I like that. Okay, that was well worth it. Shout out to them. And what I'm doing tonight is I'm just hopping around looking at some of the channels that you all have been checking out, because YouTube Studio allows me to see some of the channels that y'all have been looking at. So I just want to just shout out some of the channels that y'all have been looking at. It looks like you all have been definitely checking out some great content creators. Of course, we know Wise. He's a good friend of the channel. I hope that you all are already supporting him. We just checked out Culture Proof. I had never seen any of their content, so that was well worth it. I appreciate it. Let's see what Greg is doing over here, Black Conservative Perspective. I like him a lot. He puts out some great content. Let's see what he's talking about. What he's doing. All right, he's done. By the way, he has 970,000 subscribers, almost 1 million. All right, almost 1 million. And let's see what he's got going on. Where's the outrage? That one right there already looks like BLM is silent over manhunt underway after homecoming mass shooting epidemic rampage Mississippi towns. Good gracious. All right, let's see what happened, Greg. Well, let's see if he has these shorts. Does he do shorts? I think he does, right? Nope. Greg only puts out long form content. Okay. All right, I want to see what this is, because BLM is nothing if it's not inconsistent. So let's see what they're talking about. Shout out in the chat. Dang. Y'all can't hear it. Y'all can't hear it. All right. Y'all cannot hear it. All right. So let's do this. I probably have shared too many screens. So let me do this real quick. Bring myself back in, and then we'll start over again. All right. I'm going to just bring it in. Just let me know if y'all can hear it. Real quick. Green hearts in the chat if you can hear. And then I'll rewind it, but it's green hearts you can hear.
At the time, the sheriff department had made it there. Not the large number, along with ambulance, had made it there. And it's just people just laying on the ground. I saw 4 people lying on the ground.
All right, y'all can hear it. Shout out. Thank you so much, Heart Love. Let's start that over again then. I apologize about that. I don't know what happened. Okay, cool. Everybody can hear. All right, thank y'all so much. Let's go.
The town of Leland, Mississippi is shocked tonight. This is caution tape sitting on the building right at an intersection of North Main and 4th Street. This is that exact spot where the Leland police chief confirmed with us that 6 people lost their lives, along with 12 others injured in a shooting that happened after homecoming during a celebration on this street. And several victims were rushed to different hospitals across Mississippi. Among them, the Hinds County coroner confirmed with us an 18-year-old boy who was airlifted to UMMC in Jackson, where he later died from his injuries. One witness, Washington County Supervisor Mila Brooks, says she was inside a building nearby when all this chaos unfolded.
I was on the inside, a young girl ran on in. She was crying. That's when we saw blood just falling from her. Of course, people are running. It was just a horrific situation. But after that, when the shooting ceased, we went out and we saw bodies on the ground. At the time, the sheriff department hadn't made it there. Not the large number, along with ambulance, had made it there. And it's just people just laying on the ground. I saw 4 people lying on the ground.
And while this is a multiple agency investigation, the police are asking if you know anything to call Crime Stoppers. In the meantime, the people who stay in this small Delta town say the debris, the caution tape, and all the flies where the dead bodies were will serve as scars to what happened in the Delta.
Flies. Man, that's...
WA.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about a tragic story that happened over the weekend out of Mississippi. A few tragic stories, actually, because this is multiple stories, but it's all a part of one big story that the mainstream liberal media, for whatever reason, is not really talking about, right? You don't see wall-to-wall coverage of these mass shootings that happened across the state of Mississippi on CNN or MSDNC, okay? And we're going to learn very quickly why that is the case, why you don't see any coverage of this. But I want to talk about it because, again, it is tragic and it is something that we should pay attention to, because these type of mass shootings are the mass shootings that, for whatever reason, the mainstream liberal media isn't too interested in. But these mass shootings occur much more than the mass shootings that the liberal media wants you to focus on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Oh my gosh.
Chaos as deadly violence unfolded in tiny Leland, Mississippi.
We got to do better. Leland homecoming, man.
Yeah, we got to do better, right? We got to do better. Yeah, we hear that all the time, right? But then when anybody who's not black says, hey, y'all got to do better, it's racism, right? But the only time it seems like black folks realize, hey, you know, we got to do better is when you have something like this happen, right? Something tragic. And then, you know, once it's over and the bodies are buried, it's back to, well, you know, anybody telling us that we got to do better is a racist, okay?
Day 6 were killed after a shooting on Main Street following the town's homecoming football game Friday night.
People who were enjoying themselves and last night found themselves faced with violence that no community should be faced with.
The victims ranging in age from 18 to 41. Across the state, another deadly shooting.
We have a medical call at Heidelberg High School.
Another one?
Multiple people shot.
This one at a high school football game in the small town of Heidelberg, where officials say 2 people died. Mississippi's governor says one of the victims was pregnant. Police today arresting an 18-year-old suspect. And in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, a third shooting outside of a local football game there last night. Authorities there arresting 2 individuals. While back in Leland, the search for the gunman continues, city leaders asking for help.
This is not a time to keep your mouth closed. It's a time you open your mouth. You can save a lot of lives if you open your mouth and tell us what you have seen.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, I'm curious as to why the mainstream liberal media, why haven't they really picked up on this story? And I'm talking about the CNNs and the MSNBCs here. And the obvious reason is because of this, right? Because of the fact that they would have to put faces like this on their television screen, and they don't like that, right? But again, if the mass shooting had fit the narrative, they'd be, you know, balls to the wall, right? Covering what happened, right? Talking about how this is so terrible. We got a problem. You know, it's such a big deal. But again, for whatever reason, when it comes to these mass shootings that all happened in connection with high school homecoming games, which again is just sad to me, right? It's tragic that in 2025, we cannot come together as Americans and enjoy football, right? Without worrying about being shot and killed, okay?
Shout out to Greg Coleman. This is Greg Coleman from a Black conservative perspective. And what I'm doing tonight is I was just, an extension of my Thankful Thursday was just kind of looking at some of the channels that you all are watching and see what other channels you all are enjoying and such of that nature. So, of course, in the YouTube studio, content creators can see what the subscribers are watching. If they're watching, like, for example, I can see that y'all been watching Joe Pags. Shout out to Joe. Devory Darkins and such of that nature. So these are just the top 15 channels that my subscribers and audience have been checking. Did I say Coleman? It is Foreman. You're right. It's Foreman. Please forgive me that. I appreciate that for sure. And I just thought it would be fun to do that. And I do want to clean the palette again. So we gotta do a clean the palette episodes. We gotta bring in Mr. Ami Kozak. All right, let me bring him back in. Let's check out what he's got going on. This is Tucker Carlson and the Mother Agape. A recap? What? What has Tucker been doing, y'all? What is he up to? All right, green hearts in the chat where y'all can hear.
So how are Christians doing in the Holy Land? Like, what's the situation?
You know, what a lot of people don't understand is they think Hamas is some terrorist organization. They're just a resistance movement. When they drag their own people through the streets and put their dead bodies on their family's doorstep because they're collaborators with Israel, I mean, they're resisting.
I mean, last time I checked, treason is a crime. I mean, it's a crime in this country, and you get the death penalty. So I just don't understand the difference, really. I don't.
And look at what happened with the Nova Music Festival. I mean, the music was incredibly loud. It was EDM. And this is loud music. It's very disruptive.
Yes, very loud, like really loud. I mean, and it could damage your ears, like severely damage your ears.
Exactly. And so, to my understanding, they made several requests to lower the music. They sent people over saying, please keep it down, and the Israelis refused.
So wait, you're saying Hamas kindly requested that they turn down the music and they just refused? Why?
So they had no other choice but to slaughter all of the attendees. And it's been very challenging for decades. I remember in 2002, there was a 17-year-old boy who was arrested because he allegedly threw a Molotov cocktail at an Israeli soldier. But this was a Molotov cocktail. He was making a mixed drink, perhaps, to try to offer it to a soldier. Sometimes, you go to bars and they light the alcohol on fire because it's fun to take a shot.
I mean, I enjoy alcohol. I really do. I shouldn't drink as much as I do, but I drink a lot, like a lot. I would certainly accept that offering. Why wouldn't the soldier accept a drink if it was being offered to him peacefully?
It's possible the Israeli soldier misunderstood that, but they accused him of throwing it, and it lit the soldier on fire. It's nothing you can't just put out with your hand. But they arrested him, and these are the kind of things that are happening.
Yeah, it sounds excessive.
I remember I was leading a group of American Christians, and I took them to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And
wait, I thought you said that Christians weren't allowed to visit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Tucker, we're trying to perpetuate a narrative here.
Of course. I'm sorry. I was actually genuinely curious there for a second. Like genuinely curious. I'm sorry. Old habits die hard.
Play along, okay?
You were saying, I'm sorry, continue.
In Israeli society, the Christians are completely oppressed.
I mean, you're a Christian. Clearly you're a Christian. Why don't they let you be a Christian? I don't understand.
There's no freedom of religion. There's no freedom in our society to live as we'd like to live and worship as we'd like to worship.
And have you been able to convert anybody in the West Bank to Christianity?
Pass.
What's that?
Hard pass. Next question.
I love that. So I guess my last question to you, and I think where a lot of Americans and people in the West would be confused, is that we've seen a massive decline in Christians across the Middle East, in Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq. Even in the West Bank under the Palestinian Authority, we've just seen decimated communities, completely gone. And Christians just persecuted and slaughtered in mass across the world. And so I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on that? I totally agree. So what do we do going forward? What's the next step?
They've been trying to keep this story quiet, and, I guess everybody has their secrets.
Oh, I mean, we all have secrets, of course. I mean, I was molested by a demon.
Yes, and I'm a man.
I mean, it's not such a secret.
Hey.
Great to have you. Is your name Brigitte?
Oh, no. I wasn't ready for that. I was not prepared for that. Shout out to Ami's. This is Ami's official page, not Ami's There's two of them, so that's why the other day I could not find these, and I didn't know what y'all were talking about. You were saying it was really funny. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? These are, I don't get it. But he has 2 pages. All right, we might do one more, and then I did have a request. Somebody wanted to look at Respectfully Xavier, and I want to check out what he had to say about Islam, and Tucker Carlson, as well as Charlie Kirk. All right, let's see. Does he have another one? I don't see another good Tucker. He did one for Kamala about a year ago, but we're not going to worry about this. So let's bring in Respectfully Xavier, and he's a great content creator. Somewhere hovering about, let's bring it in. All right, so he's hovering around 118,000 subscribers. Y'all been checking him out, so let's go see what he's talking about. Shout out to everybody, the best live chat on the planet. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Let's go see what Xavier was talking about.
Hey, cousins, with today being 2 years from the October 7th attacks, I think it's really, appropriate for us to talk about some of the underlying issues that are still resonating here in our country with some of the recent events. Now, part of what I mean by that is if you look at my comment sections or every single tweet that I make, you will see all these people trying to spam me saying that I must be getting paid $7,000 per post because I have the audacity to be a Zionist. But what's so interesting about that, and what's so interesting about this witch hunt that people have regarding people who are pro-Israel, I just want to know, where is that due diligence when it comes to who's being paid by countries like Qatar? I see these people constantly talk about Israel so bad because they are defending themselves and fighting in a literal war. But where is that energy when it comes to the awful things that we have seen come from radical Islam, not even just to Israel, but throughout Western society in these last 5 to 10 years? Now, with that being said, a situation that keeps being overexposed for whatever reason is the now infamous Hamptons trip that about 30 influencers, including myself, went to with Charlie Kirk and Bill Ackman. And everybody keeps trying to hyperfixate on the fact that we discussed Israel, as well as a bunch of other topics. But the main topic, the main reason that we were there, I feel like people are completely overlooking what the main focal point was of this entire, let's say, seminar, this debating workshop, whatever you want to call it. Nobody wants to talk about what Charlie Kirk was talking about, and it's the fact that radical Islam is arguably the biggest threat to Western society today. So I want to dive deeper into that. You guys know the vibes. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Welcome to Respectfully. So cousins, like I said, there just simply seems to not be a due diligence of the same people who want to constantly accuse me of getting paid to be a propagandist shill. Where's that energy at with these Middle Eastern countries that are so against Israel? Because even my friends that are skeptical of Israel, or my friends that have way more criticisms of Israel than I do, because yes, I have my own criticisms of Israel. Y'all just talk about, oh, why don't you ever talk about what you don't like about Israel? It's like, I have. It just doesn't go viral because it doesn't fit your narrative, you musty anti-Semites. But that being said, where's that energy at when it comes to places?
Y'all, hold on. I gotta run that back. Did he call them musty? I think he called them musty. Hold on.
Yes, I have my own criticisms of Israel. Y'all just talk about, oh, why don't you ever talk about what you don't like about Israel? It's like, I have. It just doesn't go viral because it doesn't fit your narrative, you musty anti-Semites. But that being said, where's that energy at when it comes to places like Qatar? Because even, like I was saying, even my friends that are skeptical of Israel, they now feel like the hatred against Israel and the hatred against Zionists, it's forced. Now, you have countries like Qatar that is notorious for, allegedly, paying people up to like 1,000 times their typical rate in order to get into good favor. Now, I will say this is alleged. I have not seen the receipts of it necessarily, but I've looked into it enough to feel like I have traced the track record pretty well. So, of course, take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But you do have people like the comedian Theo Von. Now, I have nothing against Theo Von. I've met Theo Von. He's very nice, very funny, way older than I thought he was, but no shade. But, Theo Von, nice guy. I don't find it to be a coincidence that all of a sudden, because yeah, he dabbles into politics. He would talk to Trump. He would like have these moments. He's the funny guy. But all of a sudden he goes to Qatar and he comes back and he's the most serious person in the world when it comes to hating all over Israel. I find that suspicious. And what I've heard, and I'm not saying this about, necessarily Theo Von, but there are people that I've heard, if they normally get paid $30,000 for a gig or for whatever it is that they do to make an appearance, they will allegedly go to Qatar and get paid $3 million for something that they would typically get paid $30,000 for, and it's to put them in good favor. And I will say, I'm willing to be proven wrong about Qatar. Just like I went to Israel to find out the truth, I'm willing to hear out people that are, let's say, pro-Qatar, or hear out people that want me to visit there. I'm not opposed. Because I want to know what it is that they have to say about the allegations. But nevertheless, and the main thing that I want to dive into today is I have one more thing that I just really want to dive deeper into when it comes to this now infamous Hamptons trip, as some people are referring to it as. As I mentioned before, I feel like it is so overlooked that the main conversation that we were there to have at this Save the West retreat was more pertaining to radical Islam rather than it was about Israel. Everybody's hyperfixating about the fact that, again, if you didn't watch the prior episode, it became this huge controversy of people alleging that a bunch of influencers were flown out by Charlie, but for his own intervention to yell at him for not being pro-Israel enough. And now all these people are debating whether or not, Charlie was turning on Israel, turning his back on the cause, which credible sources are saying that wasn't the case. Yes, he had his criticisms, but his criticisms were made known. But what we are told are all these different conspiracies from people that are, on X, on YouTube. And what we're told from law enforcement and from what the facts are showing thus far is that a radical leftist is who murdered Charlie Kirk. That is what I believe, and that's what's being actively investigated right now. And as I've seen these numerous conspiracy theories, I feel like there's about 10% truth to some of them, but a bunch of it is just like filler information and lies and things that it feels like people are just pulling out of their behind. But I do think it is far-fetched to believe that the murderer of Charlie Kirk acted alone. And it is worth investigative journalism from professionals and people with that true skill set. But let us also remember that the FBI is all over it. And I'm not saying that the FBI is the most trustworthy organization in the world, but I do believe that under Kash Patel, they're doing their due diligence. I have my skepticism. Like I still think the whole thing with Epstein was weird. I don't understand what's happening there. So it's like, yeah, never trust the 3-letter agencies. That energy doesn't go away. But that being said, like, it's a very open case. So to assume that the FBI isn't turning over every stone, I think that that's foolish, but I digress. What's gross to me is that as soon as Charlie was murdered, people immediately took it as an opportunity to blame Israel, which who's shocked at this point? That's what these people, these like roaches on the internet love to do every single time. Like one of the biggest roaches on X just tweeted today saying that every time something happens, it is in your best interest to point at Israel first. Insane. That is insane. That is like put you in a straitjacket insane. But the people who are now going, and if you haven't seen this, God bless you. You're a lucky person. But there's all these people that are out there trying to blame Erica Kirk, or now even saying that Turning Point USA, they're accusing Turning Point USA of being responsible for Charlie Kirk's murder. And that to me is so shameful and so disgusting and so repulsive. And it's really sad that some of the people that are doing this are claiming to be friends with Charlie, but you are accusing his wife of not grieving enough or for grieving in her own way. I think that's pretty heartless. I think that's pretty inhumane for people to be doing that. Now, this Hamptons trip, the reason it got so much attention, it first started with a fraudulent hit piece from a far left journalist who aligned with far right journalists in order to try to attack people who are pro-Israel. I want to also throw out that journalist has absolutely no talent because some of the information that he put in there is so verifiably wrong. He tried to accuse me of having my trip orchestrated to Israel by Newsmax. It's like Newsmax had nothing to do with it. One Google search and he could have found out that the people who took me on my most recent trip to Israel, that was already public information. So again, a talentless journalist. But then it got amplified by the pretty black lady with a bob. And all I'm saying is that I can understand why people
say her name, bruh. Just say her name. Stop it. Just say her name. It's okay. You're talking about Candaspiracy. Tell the truth. Shame the devil. Just say her name, my guy. Just say it. Okay.
People are wanting to look deeper into what actually happened with Charlie. Like I said, I don't think that the shooter acted alone. I think it would be naive and foolish to think that because there is a lot of information that is not tracking. It's not clocking to me. There's a couple of elements of that story that I think are not adding up. But that being said, when we are talking about who is connected to this shooter, why are we not talking about the possible connection of this radical leftist and radical Islam? Now, again, the theme of the Hamptons was Save the West Retreat. And we have talked so much, like collectively as a movement, about what Charlie's views were towards the end of his life, towards his life being taken from him. But why are people not talking about the fact that he was very much hyper fixated on radical Islam, and particularly how Charlie Kirk felt that Islam is not compatible with Western society? He kicked off the summer basically with this tweet. This tweet blew up and was everywhere, where he said Islam is not compatible with Western society. Western civilization. He said that Islam is not compatible with Western civilization, period. That's what he said. Short and sweet. And he stood on that. And then he flew a bunch of influencers out. And one of the biggest topic of all the topics that we had our debate seminar about, and when I say debate seminar, what I mean is we were going back and forth on various topics, and Charlie was saying, like, when you argue in this way, it's too emotional. When you're arguing this way, it sounds like moral blackmail. And he was also just wanting to see how we all felt about various issues. But the entire first day was dedicated to talking about how radical Islam is not compatible with the West. And if you haven't been paying close enough attention, or even if you have, a lot of people have not put the connection together that somehow, some way, radical leftism and radical Islam have a lot of connections and a lot more in common than people realize. They both hate Western capitalism. They both identify with this whole Free Palestine movement. They hate all things Israel to a point that is completely deranged. They are very, very intolerant of everything that Western society, especially that Israel represents, including tolerance. They really hate how tolerant Israel is, ironically, considering that these progressives are somehow so anti-Israel. I'll never understand that, really. But then they also love to use fabricated victimhood to justify violence, and they enforce strict moral code that they have just pulled out of their behind, or at least in radical Islam, they pulled it out of the Quran. But the leftists, they are aligning with it in whatever capacity they choose to. And then you have these people that are choosing violence in pursuit of ideological goals. Radical Islam and radical leftists, I need to make a Venn diagram. Y'all know I love a Venn diagram. They have so much in common at this point. It's really insane. So when you say all of that, and you think about the fact that, yes, 90% of these conspiracies that these people are putting out there, I think that they're baseless. But I do believe that if you are going to claim to be turning over every stone, then why have you not looked into what it was that Charlie Kirk was actively speaking on? The last conversation I had with Charlie Kirk was about radical Islam.
Okay, even if you didn't know about Charlie Kirk's stance about radical Islam, why is it that, as we watched yesterday, why is it that all of your solutions always go to the exact same place? It can't be. Charlie Kirk, if you just want to be honest, Charlie Kirk had enemies all over the place. Radical Islam, leftists, furries, alphabet mafia, gays, straights, Republicans, Democrats. He had enemies all over the place. Why is your first, and dare I say your only pursuit is after Israel? I'm not saying you can't question about Israel, but dang, you didn't even talk about Antifa? You didn't even talk about some of these other organizations? None? Okay. That just seems pretty interesting to me that that's the only place that you start. I'm sorry, you start there and you land there and you turn the car off. Like, that's it. Shout out to Xavier.
This conversation that many people had with him was probably about radical Islam. The last, thing that from my POV that he seemed to be fixated on was radical Islam. So why is no one talking about that? Why are all these people that are claiming to do the investigative work that they don't think that the FBI is good enough at doing, why are they not talking about what Charlie Kirk was pointing to? And if you don't believe me, let's look through his tweets in his last few months of life. So as we look at Charlie Kirk again, in his own words, if you go back to June, because he kicked off the summer talking about Islam is not compatible with Western civilization. That tweet has 68 million views at the time of this video. So it clearly was controversial, but he meant what he said. Next thing you know, he puts up this. Islam is quickly taking over the West. We need a full moratorium. Wake up. And it's a video of a graduation in Somalia. The video says a graduation in Somalia. JK, it's Minnesota. So Charlie, he was not playing any games. Next tweet says this. Says, this is New York. We are being conquered and they are rubbing it in our face. Islam is steadily enveloping the West. Very clear to me, that's July. So then he says, the conservative movement needs to focus more time, energy, and focus on how Islam is rapidly taking over the West. Again, very, very clear, very direct. And then what's next? We have, I don't know how to say that man's name, Ridvan Aydemir, an ex-Muslim who escaped from the cult of Islam and became a Christian, says we must prioritize stopping the influx of Muslims to the West, and we should prioritize deporting explicitly political Islamist organizations and people. I agree, as stated by Charlie. Then we have, Islam is taking over the West. We must stand united against the growth of Islam. And a screenshot of find a job. Sharia law administrator. Crazy. Then we have feminism and Islam working together to strangle the West. And then it's a photo of the reality of Europe, which is a reality I feel like people are not paying enough attention to. He posted an image where it shows abortions and maternity. You have all these women, all these Caucasian Western women in line to get abortions. Black women too. Clock that T. He says how all these Western women are getting abortions while all these Islamic women are, they're there with maternity. It's all these women that are from what it's insinuating here. It's not Western women having babies. Then we have this one. Mass import Islam, destroy America. It's that simple. And I want to play this clip. I want you guys to see what he was responding to. This is a Muslim student at the University of Illinois, Chicago.
America is the cancer. America, the American government, secularism, democracy, capitalism. These are cancers that have spread their illness all over the world. In America, and in the Middle East. In America over here, people have the freedom to, again, like I said before, commit zina, do all this fahisha, but when you speak up, it's a problem. Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer. They're tired of the American government. They're tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. And as Muslims, we have to understand that we have that new way of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent as a mercy for all of mankind. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was sent as a mercy. Why? Because the way of life he brought will bring that mercy. The way of life he brought will bring that tranquility to Muslims and non-Muslims. Non-Muslims won't have to worry about these issues they worry about now. They won't have to, because Islam is a just religion that has come to be implemented upon.
They're telling us exactly who they are and what they're here to do
in 4K.
How is that not abundantly clear? Okay, and we can play the whole little game of not all Islamists are violent, not all of them are vicious, not all of them want to take over. Enough do. Enough do. And a theme, and I want to say this too, how Charlie prefaced the conversation that we had about Islam. He essentially said, as conservative commentators, we're not afraid to be called racist. We're not afraid to be called homophobic. Why are so many people afraid to be called Islamophobic? Why are more people not speaking up about people like that student at the University of Illinois, Chicago, that is very clearly in English calling for the Islamification of our country? And as we have seen throughout the world, it is not compatible with Western society, as Charlie has made clear. And I'm not saying to attack Muslims or to hate Muslims or to view every Muslim as dangerous, but I do feel like it is dangerous to have a mass importation of a culture that is not compatible with Western society coming here and making it clear that they don't want to be compatible with Western society. They hate Western society because they hate the West. So when everybody keeps bringing up this Hamptons trip, why are they not bringing up the element of the Hamptons trip where we were talking about how to save the West from radical Islam? To all the investigative journalists, clock that. Lean into that. Let's continue in these tweets. Charlie Kirk says, Islam has conquered Britain. We cannot allow the same in America. I'm sure that pissed a lot of people off. Then he has, you hear a lot of pundits fearmonger about the rise of Christian nationalism when right in front of their eyes, Islam is taking over public places and gaining political power. Islam is a fundamental political ideology that aims to conquer us militarily and demographically. And that is in response to a post saying that there are 581 mosques in New York. So why do they still pray on the streets? That's a great question. That's a great question. Charlie was curious about that question too. And then the last one, just 2 days before Charlie Kirk was murdered, Charlie Kirk tweeted, Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America.
Hold on. Wait, he said, you know what? Shout out to respectfully Xavier. I don't know much about the young blood. I really wish he would have the dates on here. You mean to tell me 2 days, 48 hours before, he said Islam is a sword that the left is using to slit the throat of America? And Conspiracy is going all over here, getting hot and bothered about Josh Hammer when this is floating out here? Oh my goodness, man. Like, yo, let me make that large. Great day. Wow. Okay. If Conspiracy wanted to go out there and get all of this all hot and bothered, and then she let this slide by, but she's an investigative journalist. Wow. Finish up, Xavier. Great job, man.
So why are we blaming Israel again?
I don't know, man. Clock it.
Why are all these investigative journalists, as they call themselves, claiming that Israel is involved? They're claiming that Turning Point USA was involved because Charlie had some criticisms of how Bibi Netanyahu and Israel were handling their PR for the war. Criticisms that a lot of Zionists have. But y'all are claiming to turn over every stone, even pointing at his grieving widow, Erica Kirk, trying to blame her for Charlie Kirk's assassination. But you're not talking about the fact that Charlie Kirk spent his entire summer pushing messaging about the threat of radical Islam.
Dang.
While we simultaneously see that radical Islam and radical leftism are connected. Maybe they've always been. I don't think they've always been. But in the last 5 years, they certainly have been. They certainly seem to have more in common than they don't, fundamentally speaking. This is where Charlie Kirk stood on the issue. So instead of speculating and looking at group text messages where he's clearly angry and, frustrated, which can't blame the guy for being frustrated with all the pressure that he's getting, because I don't know why people are acting like it's a surprise that he might have felt pressure from his donors about certain topics. Welcome to politics. If you think that that's something new, you don't know how politics, nor nonprofits, nor politician campaigns, nor how any of those work. But sometimes you just got to stand on business and be like, you know what? We don't need your donation. We're going to stick to the values of our company. It is what it is. I'm not saying that there aren't some Jewish donors that might have ticked off Charlie Kirk. Okay, those text messages were confirmed to be real. If y'all know what I'm talking about, great. If you don't, you probably aren't as chronically online as me. But again, I just think it's very bizarre that they're so fixated on Charlie having a feud with a couple donors rather than the fact that he had been calling out radical Islam, which, as stated in the name, is very keen on being radical and are very open about the fact that they will choose violence in order to push an ideology. So last thing I'm going to say about it is, if you want credibility as someone that is turning over every stone, then maybe you should look at who's being funded by countries like Qatar or any other place with the Islamic Brotherhood. And what connection could radical Islam potentially have with the radical leftists who murdered Charlie Kirk? And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you, cousins, for tuning in for another episode. Be sure to like, comment, share,
Why are we cousins?
and I will see you soon.
How do we become cousins? Shout out to respectfully Xavier. I don't know how we became cousins. How do we become cousins, my guy? Shout out to him. That was good, man. He did a great job, man. Shout out. Somebody earlier said, can I look at respectfully Xavier? And I do apologize. I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked me to look at him. Thank you. Thank you for telling me about that. I haven't really watched a lot of his content. I've seen it before, a lot of shorts. I've seen a lot of shorts. And I watched the video where he responded to Candace in the Hamptons trip. But that was well thought out, man. Very well done. I appreciate him doing that. All right, and because of that, I think the only thing that's right is for us to clean the palate again with another Ami coming up in here, making fun of our friend. Here we go. Let's go.
It's too hot? Pressure okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, this is just really rubbing me the wrong way.
It's too much pressure for you? You might go hard?
Something about it. I don't know. It's really like rubbing me the wrong way.
Okay, so I try to go lighter.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I'm not saying I know this for sure, but I feel this is true. I feel this is true. It's just rubbing me the wrong way.
You want me to do shoulder or lower back? What hurts?
As you dig deeper, just have questions. Makes me curious.
Yeah, you order deep tissue.
Feels more like a deep state massage. When you look at it.
You want twist to Swedish?
Something about it's just rubbing me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. It's just rubbing me the wrong way. Something about this just does not add up. It isn't adding up.
Well, this is a deep tissue massage.
Did you say massage?
Massage. This is a massage.
Right. That was an interesting Freudian slip there. I just found that interesting. I found that interesting. I just found that very interesting. That thing you just said, when you look at it. Who sent you? Was it Bibi?
always a Bibi, huh?
Netanyahu?
I don't know. You older.
I just find that interesting. I just find that very interesting. Okay, you guys. Okay, can you just focus on my head, please?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's where it hurts the most.
Yeah, your head hurt bad. Lot of tension. Not good for the brain. It's too hot? Pressure okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, this is just really rubbing me the wrong way.
It's too much pressure for you? You might go hard?
Something about it. I don't know.
And shout out to Ami. Man, that was ridiculous. Okay, I got to do another one. Let's find another one. The wig. This was Candace. He doesn't do a wig usually when he does Candace, as far as I can tell. But I'm an Ami novice.
This man dropped a nuke on the Democratic Party.
You hate white men. All right, let's find this.
It's too hot?
Okay, I don't see any other really good ones. You know what? I don't know what. I need to learn a little bit more about Zohan Mamdani anyway. So
hello to our.
Let's check out what he's skewering.
Jewish
Zohan Mamdani. Let's bring it in. Let's go.
And to all the Jewish New Yorkers, as we continue with the days of awe, Rosh Hashanah, and tonight, Yom Kippur, Yamim Noraim, our Jewish friends and neighbors say the special prayer, Ya'aleh v'yavo. We will rise and we will ascend, and we remember our ancestors, and we remember, O Jerusalem, of the...
You all right?
Can we try it again?
Sure.
Ya'aleh v'yavo. We rise and we ascend, and we remember our ancestors and our thousands years connection to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem. Wait. No.
You want to try again?
One more time? Okay. Ya'aleh v'yavo. We will rise and we will ascend. We remember our ancestors. We remember Jerusalem. Our, what? Thousands years?
Yeah.
Jerusalem?
Yeah, we checked it.
This, Jerusalem is, but they colonized it.
No.
No.
Yeah, not quite. Want to try something else?
Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends and neighbors.
There you go.
Seriously? Hello to our Jewish friends and neighbors, and to all the
start over
Jewish
again.
New Yorkers. As we continue with the days of awe, Rosh Hashanah, and tonight, Yom Kippur.
Shout out to Ami Kozak. Great content creator. And tonight, I just wanted to start rapping is hilarious. I just wanted to, again, say thank you so much for tapping into the channel. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, whether it be from the super chats, memberships, just commenting, liking, watching the video, sharing them, all that stuff. It means so much. And I just want to say thank you. I like to I'm going to start doing Thankful Thursday. And I just said I was going to do this Thursday, but we got too thankful. We got too carried away. So I just want to say thank you so much. And I wanted to highlight some of the other good content creators that you all are checking out, because I want this platform to not only be one that, I want to grow this channel. Absolutely. But I want to be one that also is known as an equal opportunity channel. So I support other channels as well. Shout out to them as well. And this was not an exhaustive list by any means or measure, not even remotely. There's some great content creators that I talk to on a regular basis that didn't even make this list. So maybe one day we'll have some of my friends stop by and we'll just have them come in, because a lot of you all talk about them. Maybe we'll have them stop by and we'll just do a panel and talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. But thank you so much again. Thank you for introducing me to Ami. Thank you for all the great content creators that you all have been checking out. I do want to give you just a couple quick things. I was asked by StreamYard, which is the platform that I use to stream this, do my live streams, to host a podcast. And I went ahead and did it. I had my first interview with ARP, Wise from a Righteous Perspective. And I'm going to drop that video tomorrow. And I'd love for you all to check it out. I'd love for the video to get 1,000 views. If it gets 1,000 views, that would be great. And we're just talking about how he uses StreamYard, how he's growing his channel, what his channel is primarily about. And this podcast is going to be about introducing you to other content creators, and specifically, of course, around StreamYard and those ones that use StreamYard. But more importantly, an opportunity to hear some other platforms. Some will be Christian, some will be not. Some will be about politics, some will be about other things. But the goal is for you to be introduced to other content creators that you might have never heard of, or maybe you're considering getting into streaming, or you want to get into content creation. Just another opportunity for you to hear some things. So that'll be dropping tomorrow, Monday. And this week, we got a busy week because, President Firstborn is back in town. She leaves on Tuesday. Lady Dear World Christian leaves on Thursday to go out of town. I got, a school play this week on Fridays. So we got a lot going on over here. So there's all this ripping and running, all that kind of good jazz. So I will be on. Don't worry. I will still be on and all that kind of good jazz. But I just want to give you a heads up on if you might see some infrequency. I might not be doing as many live streams this week because it's going to be kind of hectic over here. But I'm going to try, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And again, I just want to say thanks so much for rocking with us. Thank you for the support, everybody in the chat. Thank you to the moderators. Shout out to all of you all that have helped keep this thing moving in the right direction. Thank you for liking the videos, by the way. We're at 22,000 likes for the month, which is great. So we just keep that going. My goal is to get 65,000 likes. We don't have to limit ourselves. We can go on and get 100,000. I won't be mad. I just like to see that I'm giving you content that you're enjoying. So if you like the video, just go and hit the like button. That's it. Let me double check real quick. I think let me tell you exactly where we are very quickly. But again, thank you all to the moderators. Thank you to everybody who's in the best live chat on the internet. I really appreciate y'all. I did drop that video earlier today talking with the young man from Blexic. I'd love to hear what y'all think about that, what y'all thought about that conversation. We had a good conversation about Blexic, which is the Black organization that's trying to get Black people to consider something else besides the Democrat Party. And it was a great conversation in light of what happened over at TSU, in light of what's going on this week is homecoming week for many schools here in Atlanta and others in the South. So homecoming week is a big deal for us. So I just thought it was cool, and I'm glad he and I had a chance to sit down and talk last week. And I'll tell y'all real quick what I was going to tell you in a second. Yeah, this is going to be good. So, all right. So at the current moment, we have 25,790 likes for the month of October. So if you feel inclined, help me out. If I've earned it, go ahead and hit the like button. If I didn't, I'll try again tomorrow for sure. But go through and check out some of the other videos. If you already watched the video and you did hit the like button, help your brother out. It means a lot. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you so much to the moderators, as well as thank you to Eric. Thank you so much to Jay Garcia. Welcome to the newest members of the Pod Squad. Morrison, good to see you, as well as thank you so much, Christine, for being a member for 12 months. Thank y'all so much for all of that. It means a lot. Let's go ahead and see y'all again real soon. Lord willing, we'll do this again tomorrow. So everybody have a fantastic evening. I'll see you real soon. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the J Whip Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.